Hey everyone, this is the first installment of a series that I would like to call Siege School. The goal of the series is to teach people about common strategies that you might run into in ranked games. One that I've been asked about a lot recently and that I've been trying to explain while on stream is bandit tricking. And as a just in case, I'm just going to do a quick explanation of what bandit tricking is. Bandit tricking is a method of using bandit batteries to destroy exothermic charges before they explode. This is usually done by picking up the battery and waiting for thermite to put down his charge and then putting it down to destroy it. It's something that I used to hate at the beginning of the game but have become slightly better at doing as time goes on. In this video I'm going to break down the timings from both sides, from both Bandit's perspective and Thermite/Hibana's perspective. This video is going to get very analytical, so it might be a bit dry, but I think there will be a lot of good information here for people who aren't really sure about how to bandit trick or how to counter it. Alright, so for starters, there's only one true method to completely counter bandit tricking that works 100% of the time, and that is for the attackers to have Thatcher, Hibana, and Thermite. The reason this is the only perfect method to counter bandit tricking is because Thermite can breach one side of the wall while Hibana breaches the other, and Bandit can only put down charges to prevent one. And if Bandit chooses incorrectly and puts his batteries down on where Hibana was breaching, Thermite's charge will still go off. And since Hibana's pellets aren't affected by Bandit's batteries, that means both sides will be opened. And secondly, Hibana and Thatcher on their own can almost guarantee access to a room. If Thatcher EMPs the wall and destroys the batteries, it is impossible for Bandit to put down another battery in time before Hibana sets off one of her charges. The reason why this method isn't always chosen is because Hibana's breaching holes are very small. And since this hole is very small, that means the defensive operators are able to hold an angle on just that breach and make sure they can get you as soon as you push in. Thermite's charges, on the other hand, give much more leeway on how the attackers can push in. They have a lot more room to move around and they can sprint in if they choose so. Which is why for the next portion of the video, I'm going to talk primarily about Bandit versus Thermite when it comes to bandit tricking. So to begin on Thermite versus Bandit, I'm going to debunk a common myth that I've heard from people before. One of the most common myths about Bandit versus Thermite is that Bandit's batteries are quicker to place down than Thermite's charges. As you can see by the video on the screen, that is not the case. As seen in the video, Thermite's charge took 2 minutes and 26 frames to put down, while Bandit's batteries took 2 minutes and 27 frames to put down. This 1 frame difference can be chalked up to an editing or recording issue, and not that Bandit's battery actually takes 1 frame longer to put down than Thermite's charge. Now, the primary issue with Thermite versus Bandit is that Thermite has to place down his charge and then set it off, meaning his total time to actually destroy a wall is much greater than Bandit's time it takes to place down a Bandit battery. The time it takes to detonate a Thermite charge is 2 seconds and 51 frames. When combined with the original 2 seconds and 26 frames it takes to place down the charge, that brings Thermite's total to a whopping 5 seconds and 17 frames in order to breach a wall. That is more than double the time it takes Bandit to put down a battery. What this means is that theoretically, Bandit is always capable of destroying a Thermite charge before it fully explodes. Since the Bandit battery takes 2 seconds and 27 frames to put down, an exothermic charge takes 2 seconds and 51 frames to explode, that means as long as Bandit puts down his battery within 24 frames of the exothermic charge being set off, it will be destroyed. Obviously not everyone has a 24 frame reaction time, but it still means that Bandit has the upper hand here. The key thing to listen for is the exothermic charge unfolding. Thermite has a distinct sound when he's placing down his charge, and you can clearly hear it from the other side of the wall as Bandit. What I find to be the best strategy is to sit in the middle of all of the walls and then listen to see if the charge is being placed on the left, the center, or the right. Although the sound is never 100% accurate, this gives you a huge step up if you're able to guess correctly. Don't panic and just place down a battery hoping you get something. Make sure you take the time and actually know you will get the Thermite charge. I know the advice for Bandit kind of just boiled down to listen and try to guess accurately, but the main thing to take away from this is just how long you have to place down a Bandit. You have plenty of time, there is no need to rush it. There are a lot of factors that I take into consideration that I can't really explain as it is mainly just split-second decision making, but the more you practice bandit tricking, the better you will get at it. So now here's the fun part of the video. This is where I tell you how to exactly counter everything I just told you for Bandit using Thermite and Thatcher. This advice only works if a wall is already bandited and Bandit is just waiting on the other side for a Thatcher to go off to place down another Bandit battery. So the perfect scenario for Thermite and Thatcher is to have both walls already bandited. What you do is you get Thatcher to throw his EMP against the wall. Once the EMP hits the wall is when Thermite starts placing down his breaching charge. You will get hit by the electricity a few times while you're placing it, but it's fine, it won't destroy the charge. The time it takes for the EMP grenade to detonate is shorter than the time it takes to place the exothermic charge. So you will get the charge down almost right after the EMP grenade goes off. What you want to do is set off the charge immediately. There's an interesting little interaction with how Thatcher and Bandit work. When a Thatcher grenade goes off, Bandit is not able to place down a battery on a previously bandited wall until a second or so has passed. What this means is that if you get the thermite charge on the wall just as the EMP grenade went off, you are basically negating all that time difference that Bandit has. So by the time that Bandit is even able to put down his battery on the wall, the exothermic charge will already be going off. And the best part is that the Bandit does not have advanced deployment gadget on or is too stubborn to stop placing it, he will get downed by the exothermic charge. Now I will give a fair warning that in the past this has been countered, but I think it is just an incredibly lucky chance of timing. I don't think there's an actual practical method to counter this strategy that I use with Thermite and Thatcher. Alright, that is it for the first episode of Siege School. I hope you guys learned something today, and if you have any questions at all, just comment below, and I'll be sure to answer as many as I can. I try not to make this video too long and go into too many excruciating details, but I know that did come at a cost. There are a few more tips and tricks I wish I could have gone into more detail with, but then the video would have ended up being like 25 minutes long. This series is meant to be more of an overview and a quick tip guide as opposed to very detailed and excruciatingly long. That being said, I'm open to critique, so if you guys have any advice on how I can push the series forward, just let me know in the comments below. As well, if there's any other strategies that you found in ranked that you want to learn how to counter or how to do, and you want me to make a video on it, just comment below and I'll let you know if I can do it. And lastly, before I go, I do want to plug my Twitch channel a bit. The link is on the screen and description below. There I talk a lot live while I'm doing it, what I'm thinking as I'm doing stuff, and I do bandit tricking a lot on stream. So if you want to watch and ask me live how I'm doing stuff and why I'm doing stuff the way I'm doing it, then that is the best place to ask. Anyways, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.